Let's jump in and take a look at the lessons and activities your students may be completing in the first week of your course. In this lesson, students are introduced to Carol the dog and how Carol can be given a set of instructions to perform a simple task. So here are some of the activities that students will come across in the course. We have a lesson video that introduces new concepts. We have a quiz after that assesses whether students understood the material within the video. Next, you can see that we have our first Carol program. That is a CodeHS example exercise, and it's a fully completed coding activity that students can explore and experiment with. Instead of starting from scratch, they can learn by modifying the existing code, moving, removing, adding, or changing parts of it to see how it affects the program. This helps students understand coding concepts by observing how small adjustments impact the overall functionality. And then you can see we have two exercises, your first Carol program and short stack. Exercises are where students apply the new coding skills they've learned on their own. Unlike example or debugging exercises, these activities require students to write their own code from scratch or with minimal guidance. This helps reinforce their understanding and build confidence in problem solving and programming. And then the last activity you see in this lesson is a debugging exercise. And it's a coding activity where the program has mistakes that students need to find and fix. These errors might be in the logic, syntax, or structure of the code. By troubleshooting and correcting the mistakes, students develop problem-solving skills and deepen their understanding of coding concepts. This slide you will see with every lesson that we go over. Check out the solution references. This helps you understand the expected output and structure of solutions. Review the problem guides and explain this to me video. That's where you can anticipate common student mistakes and learn how to explain the concepts clearly. Look over the handouts and decide which ones to use. This helps you tailor your materials to your class's needs. Read through planning notes, teaching and learning strategies, and discussion questions. This gives you insights into different instructional approaches. And choose any modifications to help your students. This would help to differentiate instruction to meet all of your learners' needs. By taking a few minutes to go through these steps, you'll feel confident and ready to teach every lesson effectively. Let's check out the materials area for this course. To get to the materials area for your course, you can click on assignments, and you can either find it here when you're on the roster page or over here located under assignments, and that will get us to this page. Across the top, you see My Courses, Assignments, Materials, Create Course, and Settings. Where you want to go is this materials area right here, and this is where you can see all of the materials for your course. If you teach more than one course, you can come up here where it says course and choose another one. In this area, you have your course syllabus. You have each of the lesson plans as you scroll through. You can also take a look at all of the handouts that come with each lesson. And then you can also click the eyeball to be able to preview one of the exercises. And then you can also see if there are problem guides. All right, next let's take a look at the lesson plans. So I'm going to click on this magenta color to open up the lesson plan. And then when this opens up, you can actually come up top here and you could go from lesson to lesson this way if you would like. There's also a link to the lesson plan. And if we scroll down, it has the objective for students and what they're going to learn. It also has links to get to each of the activities located within the lesson plan. Over here, you can print slides for students. You can view the slides. If you have students who need the quiz printed, you can print the quiz from here as well. Here are all the solution references for all of the activities. Here are the problem guides, any new vocabulary the students need to know and understand. And you can also get to the handouts here, both the teacher version and the student version. And then you can look through the planning notes, and this is what I suggest for each of the lessons that you teach, is going through the planning notes, the teaching and learning strategies, any prior knowledge the students need. Here are the slides. Instead of watching the video, there are slides as well. And then the discussion questions for class. Two more things I'd like to point out as well, which are fairly new, would be this peer code review template. So we can take a look at that. And that's located up at the top of every single one of our lesson plans. You can see there's a spot for the reviewer's name, the coder's name, the project or exercise, and just some things that students can be looking over and giving feedback on for other students. The other resource is a little bit further down on the page under discussion questions, and this is the class discussion notes template. Under lesson discussion questions, it says prepare your answers to the lesson discussion questions below. And here are some reflection questions that students can answer at the end of the lesson. Looking back at the lesson plan activity slide, and again, this is a slide you will see for every lesson, I went ahead and I went through the lesson plan, and these are some of the things that I noted or thought about. The Backseat Pictionary handout is a really great handout to use at the start of the lesson with students. The Carol Commands handout is a great tool to use or resource to use as an activity at the start of the next class, maybe as a bell ringer activity. And then My First Carol program, which is 2.1.4, does have that Explain This to Me video that I think you should check out. And then we just took a look at this class discussion notes template and the peer code review template, just thinking about, is there any place in the lesson that we would be able to use either one of those? In this lesson, students build on their understanding of how Carol the dog can be given a set of instructions to perform a simple task. And then here's the lesson plan activity. Here are some things I noted when going through the lesson plan. The lesson opener is a fun and engaging way to start the class, so I would definitely check that out in the lesson plan. And having your students work in groups to create a poster that lists rules for programming Carol is also a good activity. And then you could have the class maybe vote on which poster was the best. And then the end of class reflection question: what challenges did you face in today's exercises? That's a great one to get students thinking and talking about the coding process that they used. In this lesson, students will learn how to define and call a function using proper syntax. As you can see, this lesson has a video, check for understanding quiz, one example, 2 exercises, and a reflection. This time, I took the exercise and remixed it into a Parsons problem. You will see the original example and you will see the Parsons problem. Let me show you how you can remix an example in your own course and turn it into a Parsons problem. Once you're in your section, I just went to the Assignments app over here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to choose Carol in Python, and Carol can't turn right. So here is the example, 2.3.3 tower and turn right. Let's take a look at the original example. As you can see, this example is complete and it functions properly. But what we want to do with the Parsons problem is have students take the components of the example and put them in the correct order to show understanding. What you will do is you will find the example you would like to make into a Parsons problem, and you will click the 3 dots to the right of it. Here you will find Remix under Configure, and you have the option to turn it into a Parsons problem. Once you have turned it into a Parsons problem, you will see that the original example is still there and the Parsons problem has been created. If you would like to move activities up and down to get them in the order you would like them, all you need to do is click the 3 dots and choose Move Up or Move Down to put them in the order you would like. Let's take a look at the Parsons problem I created for this teaching course. What students would need to do, and what you'll need to do in this course, is move the blocks over in the correct order and the correct indentation to complete the exercise. What you'll need to do is look back at the exercise to get Carol to move and create a tower of 3 balls standing on the top facing east. In this lesson, functions will be used to teach Carol a new word or command. Using functions allows programs to be broken down into smaller pieces and makes it easier to understand. Looking at the lesson plan activity, here are a few things I noted. Your students will be dancing with this lesson opener. Make sure to check it out. The naming functions handout is going to work really well as an exit ticket. And there's also a debugging functions handout that you can have your students complete individually or in pairs during this class or the next class. You can even copy and paste the examples with errors into your sandbox and have the students find the errors on your screen as a class. So many different ways you can use that debugging functions handout. In Lesson 2.5, students learn top-down design and decomposition as the processes of breaking big problems into smaller, manageable pieces. The functions improve the readability of the code and avoid repeated code. You can try remixing 2.5.3 Hurdle Carol into a Parsons problem for your students if you'd like. Going through the lesson plan activity for this lesson, here are a few things I found. This is a longer lesson, so feel free to split it into 2 days. I would have the students complete the decomposition handout and also the planning programs 1 handout. That can be done in pairs or small groups. And then looking at the 2 towers exercise, it is a bit challenging, so I would consider allowing students to pair up. That way they don't get frustrated working through it. Let's revisit our big thought of the week. So our big thought of the week was, how do CodeHS resources fit into your current class routines? Which activities align with how you already teach? What might you modify or skip? What new strategies are you excited to try? Your activities for the week: complete lessons 2.1 to 2.5 as a student, and those lessons you can complete in your own course, and you can copy and paste any of your solutions into this course. As you work, make connections to the teacher lesson plan and your current class routines. And we do have some week 1 reflection questions at the end of the week. Congratulations on making it through week 1. I can't wait to hear how your first lessons go.